Hello and welcome everybody to the next Let's Play for the channel, which as you can obviously tell, is Limbo. This is a really interesting indie game that was released a decent amount of time ago. I believe it was released around 2010 or so, and this pretty much takes me back to my Xbox 360 days, and when I say that, I'm referring to for a good majority of the seventh generation, I think, of consoles. I owned a 360, and that was pretty much it for like the first couple years of that generation. And in my time, using that as my main system, at one point or another, I ended up actually hearing around the time this game came out. I would imagine, I heard about this game, and nothing really brought kind of drew me into it or anything. I don't think. It was more just I saw it a decent amount, like every time I went onto the marketplace and everything, and I saw this on there and stuff like that. I never ended up buying it on there because for the majority, well, pretty much all of my original 360, uh, you know, time that I spent having the 360 as the main console, I never had Xbox Live on it, or at least I never had Gold on it. I always had trouble setting that up, but that's a different story. But so this, like I said, was released around 2010 or so, and it was originally it was exclusive to the Xbox 360. Later, it got released on the PlayStation 3 and and it's pretty much on a lot of platforms now. I think it's even on like mobile, everything from mobile to the Wii U, I think, actually, which is interesting. But let's get this started while I'm talking. Um, but yeah, but despite how much of this I saw on Xbox Live and everything, I never ended up actually owning and playing through the entire game until PlayStation 4, actually, because this was actually a free PlayStation Plus download for PlayStation Plus subscribers. Not all that long ago. I think it was sometime 2016. I'm not sure, maybe mid 2016 or something. But anyway, so yeah, this is a pretty simplistic game. It's a pretty simple platformer. But anyway, let me show something off real quick. Instead of going to the right, let's go to the left. Look at that. We got ourselves a little egg, or whatever those things are supposed to be. But I'll get this out of the way real quick. Is those eggs, or whatever you want to call them, those are actually how you earn your achievements / trophies in this game. Literally, like, you don't have to do anything specific, I don't think. You literally just go around certain areas, find... Now, obviously, they're not all that easy to get to, but that's literally the only thing you need to do in order to get trophies in this game, is just literally find egg, get to said egg, and then smash it. I think you get one for beating the game as well, but yeah. Yeah, so this was an exclusive Xbox 360 game for like a year, and then obviously, like I said, PlayStation 3 got it. I'm pretty sure PC got it. Pretty much everything has it now. It's kind of like something, I guess, like Minecraft, but maybe not as vast in terms of its platforms. Let me see if I can actually show you. Yeah, this is how simple the game is. Yeah, look at that. That's how simple this game is. There's only a few actions. There's jump, interaction, and movement. That's really all you need to know. And you'll notice that we didn't even start at a main menu, really. We just had a menu that said press start or press X or whatever, and that was it. That's all we needed to do. There is a main menu to this game, but it's weird because, let's see, can you... Yeah, I don't know if it gives you an option there. But it's weird because, like, after you beat the game, I think is the main time you can get to it. But, anyway. But yeah, as you can tell, Limbo has a very distinct and, at least at the time, pretty unique art style. And I'm not sure if it received any criticism. I'm sure it did by some people. I'm sure there was somebody that was like, I don't like the black and white art style. But I think for the most part it was relatively received positively. If I can grab onto this boat, we need this. But anyway, but yeah, this game I think got quite a bit of praise, or at least, a decent amount. I'm not insane. I think this did sell pretty well on Xbox 360 alone. I'm not sure about the other platforms that it's come out on since then. But, yeah, it's basically the plot to this game, I guess to just kind of talk about that. There actually really isn't all that much of a plot to this game. It's more... I don't know, that's what makes it unique. This is kind of like, those horror games, which is pretty much like every horror game nowadays, has a lot of stuff that isn't told to you or shown to you up front. A lot of it is in the background and in details, like newspapers and stuff. Also, side note here, this right here, bear traps. And also, speaking of which, this game is, obviously because of its art style, isn't that brutal, but the sheer fact of stepping on a bear trap is pretty brutal, but they're able to get away with it because of the art style. But I think there's an option for... Well, maybe it's not even in here. I know it on some versions of the game, at least, there's actually a gore filter, which doesn't make all that much sense considering the game's in black and white, so it's not like you're going to see blood and everything, although... What you can see that would be, you can see what would be blood, but you can't necessarily tell. The only reason you can tell it's blood is because it's like a liquidy type of substance coming out of the person after coming out of the little boy's body after he's gotten his head cut off and separated from his body thanks to a bear trap. But, alright, I think that's good. But, anyway, basically the plot to this game, like, if you were to look at the plot summary on, like, PlayStation Store or something, or on Xbox Live, or pretty much anywhere, I think, all it will tell you... Oh, crap. Okay, anyway, there we go. Wasn't sure what I was going to need to do there, but anyway. Oh, good lord. Alright. I don't think I've ever had to do that. I don't think I've ever missed this jump before, but I'm trying to talk at the same time. Anyway, so, basically the only plot to this game that it actually tells you is, I'm trying to think, I'm gonna probably end up paraphrasing this, but it basically says a young boy's sister has disappeared, as a young boy's sister has disappeared, a boy enters Limbo. And that's pretty much the only real, straight up story to this game. And if you know, what Limbo is, I don't know if this is, actually called or not, but obviously Limbo is just a place that, or at least, in some versions, I guess, is basically one of the... It's basically the edge of hell, from what I believe. I think it's meant to be the edge of hell. So, something you could probably imagine is, without even knowing too much of what Limbo is the fact that you could probably imagine, okay, either the sister is dead, or the sister is missing, and for some reason the boy feels like entering Limbo, which would maybe suggest that he's dead as well. But, that's kind of getting into some stuff I'm sure I'll get into later. But anyway, remember how I told you about those eggs for the achievements or trophies in this case? This is another one. You have to jump just right, and then you have to swing on this rope, get a good swing going, and then jump over here, and you got another one. I am not going to be showing off all the locations for these eggs. I'll either show off if I remember the locations, if we're near one of the locations and I remember that we're near one, I'll go ahead and show it off. Or if I end up stumbling across one of these, then I'll go ahead and try to pick it up. But for the most part, I don't plan on making this a, you know, all the eggs or locations video or anything like that. That's not what I meant to do. You can probably just jump down. Oh crap. Speaking of that, frickin', yeah, you can take fall damage. There's a lot of things that can kill you in this game. Fall damage is like the least of your worries in terms of ways to die in this game. But yeah, that's pretty much just the main plot. Now, obviously, like I was saying, making the connection to pretty much a lot of horror games nowadays is the fact that a lot of the stuff isn't up front. It doesn't just tell you the story as you go through. It's more stuff you have to really think about and figure out. It's more psychological and everything, as opposed to just being upfront about everything. And there's a couple theories and everything, obviously, on YouTube about this game and what stuff means and what the environments are meant to represent and everything. But anyway, so this is pretty much the closest thing to a boss that you're gonna get in this game, from what I remember, is this spider. So the way this part of the game works, since I haven't really explained everything else, you can tell I've played this game, or at least have played this part of it enough to know what I'm doing. But this part may confuse you. You may have saw earlier there was a bear trap in one of the tree branches over here, and you may have just heard it, but what you gotta do is you got to get the spider to, like, try to stab you, but not stab you. That way, I guess he causes vibrations and shakes the bear trap off of the branch up there. So just, hey, there you go. Yeah, that's the type of quality of death that you can get in this game. And I wasn't trying to do that on purpose, but yeah. You can tell when you can interact with something is if you kind of slowly go up to it and then the boy will put his arms out. But yeah, this is kind of patience is kind of this game, or at least this part is, because obviously don't try to move fast when there's bear traps and everything and stuff like that. But so basically this is like I think pretty much the only boss fight really in this game is you just gotta get the spider to try to stab at you and then move and then just, you know, snap off all of his oh gosh, that kind of scared me a little bit there. Snap off all his or at least the 3 legs that he has exposed right here. Yeah, that one you got to be a bit more careful with because that one reaches further. And yeah, that's it for the spider. But yeah, like I said, and like I showed earlier, Limbo is a pretty basic platformer. Not really anything to it all that much. There's not really any music to the game either. It's just kind of, you know, how do I say, like, what's the word? Like, ambient noises, like bugs. I think we're hearing a couple of those now, like bugs, wind blowing, stuff like that. And the spider's coming back, and we can't move, so all we can do is do this got a little dance going. Now, if you were playing the demo that was available, I believe on PS3, I think it was the same demo, and on the Xbox Live, or on Xbox 360, that's where the demo would have ended for you. It would have ended just as the boy gets picked up by the spider. But, so here's a bit of an interesting thing. Just gotta move left and right a decent amount to get loose. You gotta shake yourself loose. There you go. So this is a kind of different gimmick, I guess you could say, is that, yeah, so we're trapped in spiderweb, so we can't really see where we're going necessarily, and I don't think we can jump, but we can't necessarily, okay, you can kind of jump as you're walking. But we're not very fast. I mean, we're not very fast to begin with, but so this is a bit of a different thing. And the reason why I walked off the cliff was I was trying to get as close to the cliff without stopping. And yeah, that's what happens sometimes. Don't fall off kids' cliff. Don't fall off kids' cliffs. Don't fall off dang it! I almost said it again. Don't fall off cliffs, kids. It's not good for you. And dang it, I did it again. Practice what you preach, pal. Anyway, but I was gonna say something, but anyway, okay. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Freaking one gap. Anyway, that should have been as much of an accomplishment as it ended up being, but anyway. Oh, crap. I'm better at this game than you might think. I am, despite my playing skills, but anyway, yeah, this is where I don't necessarily have that much of this memorized, because that first part is pretty much the demo, and I played the demo a decent amount. But, alright, so, gotta push this boulder over here, and then step back, because you do need to step back, because if you're too close to when that tree, I guess, falls, it will smash you and kill you. And this part's kind of interesting. Gotta get this boulder rolling right down the cave. Get your boulder running. Anyway, so yeah, just kind of, and also our spider friend's back, and so just kind of keep towards the front of the boulder a little bit, because you can't really speed it up, I don't think. Just try to keep close to the front of the boulder so he can't reach you as easy, but enough to where you don't fall off the freaking thing. See, like that. And there we go. We're free of the webbing. So a little bit of a different section there. Obviously, we're not going to see that again. It's just a bit different. Hey, one thing I guess I'll bring up, because I think we might see a couple more here in a little bit, is, oh yeah, like I said. Oh. But yeah, this game is a bit dark, at least in terms of the imagery, because obviously there's what seem to be human bodies, or bodies of some sort, in this game, and as you saw earlier, yeah, it's pretty messed up, because like earlier we had to use one of them for bait, or whatever, I guess you could say, to mess with to get the bear trap out of our way. Then again, we weren't necessarily doing it to get the bear trap out of the way. It's just we had to lose we literally had to lose the dead weight on that that rope so we could swing across. Kind of like here, but we just had to lose the bear trap. And that bear trap won't kill you because the spikes fall into the ground as opposed to, the other way. But anyway, got a little bit of platforming here.